Hey guys, it's Jenny Wolek with the Wolek Group, Keller Williams Realty Advantage in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What an honor to have the amazing Lance Loken here with me today. We've already got to chit chat and I'm super excited about all the things we're going to talk about here with our next episode of Agent Success Secrets. Lance.
Hey, it's such an honor to be on here today. Thank you so much.
We have been friends for a few years, and it has been such a pleasure getting to know you. You're top of our company agent, and still so humble and so focused and so driven, and have a big heart as well, even though you won't give warm hugs.
Nope, I won't. Thank you for making sure that doesn't happen.
Even though I try.
Yeah.
Well, today, let's just get to it. There's been lots of change up and excitement in our company, Keller Williams. There's been change up and excitement in your business, the Loken Group out of Houston, Texas. So let's let you introduce yourself, just your little quick, because you've got a lot of meat in your backstory. Let's get right to it so we can get to now and to the future of the Loken Group. So tell everyone where you're from, how you got in this biz, what your production was last year, and what your goal is for this year.
Sure. Born and raised in Wisconsin, then relocated to Pennsylvania where I met Karina, my wife. And then most of my career was in retail. And that brought us down to Houston, Texas, where I was a CFO for Francesca's Collections. And then in 2008, Karina was enjoying Houston so much that she said, we're never leaving. And so I got real smart and got into oil and gas. And that lasted about 3 years in the worst part of the economy. Yeah. And then about 400 of us lost our opportunity to work. And I had interviews all over the United States. Karina said, why don't you get into real estate? I said, there's no way I'm stooping down to that level. And then we got together in January of 2011 and started the Loken Group. And that's 8 years ago. We just finished our 8th year. At the end of the first year, we had 4 people in the organization. At the end of the second year, we had 8, then it was 15, and then grew from there. We currently have 80 people in our organization. We just finished the year with 2,135 home experiences, and that equaled $530 million in business and 7.8 million in GCI.
What was your goal?
So our goal is 2,400 transactions for 575 million.
So what did that mean? What
so
did that
we
mean for you
failed.
guys?
It was a great year. Nobody has ever done 500 million in business in the Houston metropolitan area. Nobody's ever hit that 2,000 home experience threshold, and yet we failed on reaching our goal. So as exciting as it was still disappointing at the end of the year, and you still have to celebrate your successes. So we are on a brand new mission of achieving 2,700 home experiences for $700 million in volume. And then we're going to Costa Rica next year for our trip. And we're actually adding a day on the trip since we didn't get to participate this year. So we're now going to go for 5 days and 4 nights.
Wow. What's so crazy about all of that, of course, your numbers are mind-blowing. If anyone has heard your story or knows you, they're not surprised that you've had this much success in a short period of time. And I think it's because the number one thing that we talked about beforehand was that you said that we just have to run this like
a real estate business.
Yeah. So talk to agents or leaders that are watching this of how you can help others get their mindset around really being a business, not a salesperson.
Well, the thing that was so hard for me to wrap around in that beginning stage before we got into the real estate business was every time I looked at a real estate agent, I thought that they were used car salesmen. And that mentality was so frustrating for me, going from a C-level executive to a real estate agent, that I would love for that to be a step up or a lateral move. And so when we got into this business from day one, that has been my end mission, that we raise the bar of the real estate industry so that someday people are sitting at the tables talking about doctors and attorneys and real estate agents all in one breath. that means you're a true professional, in my opinion. So that has been our goal, and everything that we've done and the way that we've built this organization has been with that end in mind. That's why we have the tlgshares.com for the resources standpoint. We want to make sure that people have any resources that they need so that they can be highly successful as well.
Yeah, so let's say that again. You have a website, tlgshares.com, and anyone can go and log in and have basically your drive of your everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Which we appreciate you, by the way, for that.
It's awesome. And every time we put something new in there, we just make sure everybody knows so that they can take whatever they need.
So let's say I'm a new agent, I'm a single agent, and I've been in the business a couple years, and I had not started out right. I was not running it like a business. I'm getting eaten up by clients, and I'm really sucking on being a parent and a spouse. What advice would you give me on how to reset and go from there?
Well, if you haven't been running a business, the coolest and easiest thing to do is to pick up the MREA book and actually read it and follow every step of the book. That's the easy way to do it. And a funny little story behind that is we were in the third year of our business and had the huge honor to have the opportunity to be on stage with Gary Keller. And so a couple of weeks before the opportunity arose, they were asking questions, to prep for the event. And the last question they said was, how has the MREA book influenced your business model? And my response was, what's the MREA book? And the reason I say that, though, it's really cool because we built our business as a business from day one. And if you look at the MREA book and look at our businesses, they almost are completely in sync. So that's why I say all you have to do is read that book and follow it, and you will be very successful.
Wow, that is funny. And sticking your foot in your mouth in front of Gary.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, something else we talked about is team and culture is really important to you and Karina.
Yes, very much so.
Talk about that for a minute.
Sure. So from day one, every time we've wanted to do something or move forward with something, we've shown the path and we've asked for buy-in from our people and have said, what do you think about this? And when people talk about running their businesses and they're the decision makers, I turn back to them and say, well, then you've just hit your own ceiling. What would it look like if you had an executive team or if you have an entire organization that when you ask them what their opinions are and collectively you come up with a game plan? Imagine what that ceiling looks like. So now we have 80 people that are actually providing insight onto what we're going to accomplish over the next several years. I like that ceiling a lot better than my ceiling. And when you operate from that perspective, you get buy-in, you get energy and enthusiasm to accomplish something because now we collectively came up with that goal or achievement and we're collectively going to do that. And that's why you never hear anything about Lance or Karina Loken. It's always about the Loken Group and what they're doing, because at the end of the day, we're absolutely nothing without them. And we make sure we let everybody in our organization know that on a daily basis. So there's that. And then the mission, vision, and value statements, that provides you with a story to showcase what you're going to accomplish, especially early on when we were nobody. We were going to our executive team who had no real estate background whatsoever. And we were asking them to quit their careers in what they were currently doing and trust in us that we were going to do something. And because we had a mission, vision, and value statement, we were able to sit down with them and say, here's where we're going, and this is what we're going to accomplish. Now, of course, they had to believe, that crazy person talking about it. And they ended up believing. And our executive team is so amazing, as is everybody in our organization. But we had to get there first. And by having that story and being able to tell the story, we got buy-in from them as well.
I love that. In what you just said can help me expand my mind. I can see sharing your vision and getting buy-in from a small team. I get that.
Yep.
And a lot of us, 5, 10, 15 people in our world, it's easy because we're all face to face. We feel each other. We see each other. How can I wrap my brain around having that same passion and compassion and value with 80 people? Expand that for me.
Sure. So your focus needs to be on what they want to accomplish, and then holding them accountable to what their goals and aspirations are. And that automatically expands it, because when you're around like-minded people, if I have one listing agent that says we're going to do 180 home experiences this year, well, the other person, if they're a high D, they're going to go, well, I'm going to do 200 home experiences. Well, the more people that start doing that, the more enthusiasm you get. And as long as you hold them accountable to their goals, then look at how big your world's going to become. And at the end of the day, it's simple math. You just have to make sure that you have enough leads to sustain the business, and then find the right people, enough of the right people to achieve those goals. So we know, that we're going to have 110 people by the end of next year achieving that 700 million in volume and achieving the 2,700 home experiences, because we mapped it out on what people can accomplish and what their goals are.
All right, so a little drunk monkey popped in my brain along that story, and that is, well, who is holding and getting to know all of the goals and dreams and aspirations of all these people? Because Lance and Karina aren't doing that for everyone.
Right. So what we do is, in about June or July, because there's so many people, we start doing vision boards on a weekly basis. And so everybody stands up and shows their vision board, and we take notes. We also videotape those vision boards, and now everybody has them in their office space or wherever they're located at. So we have 80 vision boards, showcased around the building. And then we have accountability partners who are holding people accountable to their goals or to their vision boards on a weekly basis. And what's really cool is the majority of our accountability sessions isn't against the numbers. It's against how they're doing personally and what they're wanting to achieve. Because if you get through, and Jay Papazan taught us this, if you can focus on their personal life and if that's a happy space, it's going to be happy in their business life. And so we've really focused on that.
Yeah, I agree with that. If they're having what we say, that counterbalance, they're going to be showing up at work.
Right. Yep.
So let's go to that. What happens when people on your team aren't having a counterbalanced life, Lance?
So we hold them accountable, and then we have coaching opportunities. And ultimately, if our values aren't in alignment and their goals aren't in alignment with what they stated that they wanted to do, then we've got to help them find another opportunity. And sometimes, it's really painful, not just for them, but for us as an organization as well, because we've got big goals and we need everybody to participate at a high level. And so, sometimes that happens and it causes a few hiccups for our organization. And the cool thing is you get to learn from them as well.
So you have experienced this lately, and we'll go into that in a minute. Were they not hitting numbers, or were they cranky in the office? How could you tell that they weren't being in alignment with the work-life balance that you guys strive for?
So they weren't achieving their goals. They also had a lot of excuses, and their values weren't lining up with what TLG stood for. And, we don't take this lightly at all. So if you don't achieve your goals for a month or two, that's one thing. You can always have hiccups. It's when you have this for a period of time, an extended period of time, that's when we've got to reevaluate everything. And are our values lined up? Are the goals that you stated, are they really goals, or are they just wishes? And are you willing to do the activities in order to achieve those goals? And at the end of the day, we also had to learn a valuable lesson, because when I love an illustration that Simon Sinek said one time. He was at a real estate conference last year, and somebody said, I hired this really great superstar. They lasted about 6 months. Now they're absolutely horrible, and I feel like I'm babysitting for them. How do I get rid of them? And Simon's response was, well, you hired them, didn't you? And the whole reason behind that is you have to look at yourself and what you're not doing to hold them accountable, because at one point in time, they were worthy of you at that point in time. So what did you not do to help sustain that? And that's why we always have to look at ourselves first and reevaluate how we're operating the business. And that's what happened with us. You know, we had 2 listing agents that we had to help find another opportunity, and I had to get back into full production, and I'll be in for full production probably for another 3 or 4 months. And at the end of the day, we had to get back to having a work-life balance. We had to get back to people wanting to be a listing agent, because at that point in time, people weren't real excited about being a listing agent with the workload and the financial ramifications that it entailed. So we had to revisit everything, and we tore it all apart. We said, this isn't working, so we needed to revamp it and make it work. And now all of our listing agents are extremely happy. They've got their work-life balance, and we're going to do whatever it takes to not only sustain that work-life balance and achieve our goal.
You answered, as you were going through, I was having all these questions, and then you just were answering them all for me. And I think the number one thing I want to pull out of that is it's okay to pivot. It's okay for us to adjust. And just because you'd made that commitment to be in business with someone that's on your team and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can adjust.
Yes. And it's not necessarily punting or kicking, away and blowing up the whole team and starting over. It's pivoting, exactly what you said. You can always make adjustments, and you just keep steering that ship in the same direction. You can veer off a little bit, but let's get it right back. And the more you stay in tune with your business, the easier it is to adjust.
So I'm going to share this personal story. I was so blessed to get to go to Atlanta recently to hang out with Andy and Leslie Peters. And I was there last minute. They called me to step in because you had gotten back in production. And of course, that was interesting. Like, man, Lance, awesome. He is all hands on deck, and you're going to do whatever it takes to make your business a success. And that night I get there with them. We're at dinner, and we all get the texts and the emails that Gary Keller has stepped back in as CEO. And of course, I'm just going to say there was a lot of excitement going on around that news. And share with everyone your story on kind of that little moment in time.
So, yeah. So the weekend before Gary Keller's mastermind this past fall, we had to help these people find another opportunity. And I was driving to listing appointments all day that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I was really upset because I wasn't allowed to be at that mastermind with Gary and all of you guys, the entire, top groups. And I was just stewing, and, finally I pulled off to the side of the road, and I just texted Gary and said, I'm really upset that I'm not there. I'm sorry that I'm not there. We had a little hiccup in our organization, and I'm back into full production, and I'm doing whatever it takes to ensure that our business is sustainable and that we get our people back to, righting the ship, with a work-life balance. And I'm 100% committed to make sure that that happens. And I'm sorry I'm not there, and I'm sure that you would be doing the exact same thing if you're in my shoes. And so thank you for being my mentor and model for that, and sent him the text. 20 minutes later, I get this really awesome text back, and he was just very happy and supportive, 100%. And then he proceeded to tell the whole KWRI the next day about that whole opportunity. And he says, that's how you run a business. You step back in when you need to, and all hands on deck. And then he goes and he's the CEO of the organization. So he's done exactly the same thing.
Maybe he was modeling you.
No, I was modeling him. 100%.
Well, that's a fun story. I have a question for you. Besides your team and your family, what keeps you going every day?
The drive, at the end of the day, I wake up every single morning, and my whole mission is to build an organization large enough to encompass their dreams and their aspirations. When I get up and people are knocking stuff off of their vision boards, when people are getting up and sharing that they just achieved this or that, that fills my bucket more than anything else, because I get to have the opportunity to serve these people, and that excites me more than anything else in the world, just by seeing them achieve it. And we provided them with the opportunity to achieve that. All they had to do was be willing participants. And
yeah, but that's a beautiful answer, but you didn't listen to the instructions. It was besides them.
I understand that. And that's still going to be my answer. No, I just, from when I was a really small child, I've known that I've got a servant mentality. I love to please people. I love to serve people. And I've gotten screwed over quite a few times by having that mentality. And I still get back up and I go on. There was a quote that I was given late in high school from a friend of mine, and it was the poem "Don't Give Up." And I still have the poem, and I still have it in its original form. And I look at that, and my mentality is I'm going to go through it, around it, or under it, around it, however I was going to get to it, but we're going to get to the other side. And now, we've built this organization. There's 80 families that are counting on me to show up every single day to help them achieve their goals. So it's a huge task. And, if that doesn't wake you up every single morning, I don't know what will.
Yeah. If you really want to grow and push yourself, build a team.
Right.
Because it's not about you anymore.
Nope, not at all. Nope.
How's your mindset right now?
I'm on a mission right now. I was really disappointed that we didn't achieve our goal this year. And so I'm all hands on deck, and I know our entire organization is all hands on deck, because we're going to Costa Rica next year and we're going to achieve the 2,700 home experiences. And what's really cool is everybody here is completely bought in, and they're doing all the activities necessary to achieve that. And it's awesome to watch.
Isn't that fun?
It is. It's a lot of fun.
How do you eliminate distractions from your day? You're a quick responder to texts and to emails, so I know you got your phone in your hand a lot. Are you a time blocked person? You just have things on your calendar and that's how you get things done? How do you stay focused?
I time block everything, and I'm extremely hyper, so I do take walks around the office quite a bit, but my walks are probably a little different than most others. My walks are about 30 seconds. And, people will walk by and they'll want to talk, and I'll say hi, and I get back to my task at hand. But I do time block. I'm up every morning at 4:30. I get to sleep about 11 o'clock at night, and everything is just very systematized. Yeah. And I hate people waiting on me for a response. So when somebody texts me or emails me, they usually get a response pretty quickly.
It's true. You're good at that. I have this other question that I could think of a few. I would just guess. I want to hear some others from you. Who really inspire you?
So for my professional career from early on, there's a gentleman by the name of David Rubin who I met, and the guy is absolutely brilliant. He has degrees from Harvard and Yale, and he's got a real retail mindset as well as a business mindset. And he also did a lot of commercial real estate while he was in the retail world. So I've relied upon him several years. And then I got to meet Gary Keller, and that's my second mentor. And then, third, the other two people would be Tony DeCello and Joe Bogar. Those guys really I can mastermind with people. I don't need to be held accountable. I'd like to mastermind and think of what's next. So those people have really helped enable that process. Greg Harrelson's another one that's been huge. I mean, he's going to be doing close to 3,000 transactions, and he's been in the business for 25 years, and he's always looking for what's next as well. So he's never satisfied.
So surrounding yourself with really big thinkers.
Yes, I enjoy that.
That's key. Yeah. This is a tricky question, and I haven't, you have not been prepared on this one. So let's hear your real answer.
I haven't been prepared on any of this.
You're doing great. Besides being a fine wine connoisseur and expert, what else are you super knowledgeable at that people would not know about you?
I love to play tennis. I captain 6 different teams. I play 3 to 4 days a week. It's a passion of mine, and I love to captain because then I can strategize and think about how people are going to play together and things like that. So that's something I enjoy quite a bit.
And a good way to get some energy out.
Yes, very much so.
What else do you want to share? Because I find that the people that end up watching these episodes here, they're agents of all different levels. Could be brand new, they could be leaders inside of this real estate business, or just salespeople in general. And you have a lot of value to share. So what's something that you'd like to impart on everyone before we go?
So your job is the owner of your business is to provide leads. You're supposed to have build that system that provides leads. And Gary made an interesting comment about a year ago. He said, you guys as leaders are operating just the same as market centers. And what he meant by that was you're teaching people how to lead generate. You're teaching people how to sell properties. You're teaching them how to do all this stuff. And so they get to be good enough, and then they go out on their own because they were like, well, I know how to do all this, so I'm going to go do it on their own. If you're the one providing the leads and enabling them to do what they're really good at doing, some people are great at selling properties. Some people are great with relationships. Some people are great at lead generating. Put them in their wheelhouse and let them function at a high level because that's their strength. They're going to be very happy doing what they do because they get to do the one thing that they love to do. And that whole enthusiasm just permeates throughout the entire organization. And we did that from early on, that we started putting people in their wheelhouses, and it's proven to be very successful.
Clearly, very successful.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I appreciate you so much. You're going to be in New Orleans here soon?
Yep, absolutely. Can't miss family reunion.
Can't miss it. I look forward to seeing you. I appreciate you. And thanks for always sharing. And let's just tell everyone real quick how they can share a referral with you guys, how they can get in touch.
Oh, sure. We cover all 8 counties of the Houston metropolitan area, and we'd be honored to be a referral partner. You can go to thelokengroup.com or email Kelly, Kelly, at thelokengroup.com. She's our referral specialist, and we'd be honored to help anybody that would like to work with us.
You're awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It was an honor. Thank you.
If you guys need anything from me, my number is 918-706-9845. Have a good one. Bye. Bye, Lane.